Hey Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. I was seeing King of Swords be in the pre-shuffle, and when we have King of Swords, generally there's something that we're taking a look at. We can feel like there's a need to sort of assess things. It can be problem solving, it can be decision making. We're starting off first with Judgment, and we also have Strength on the bottom of the deck. What this combination is connected with is needing to take a close look at something and be really honest about what you're seeing. Like, honesty is the imperative here. When we have Judgment, it's like, I'm done with the games, I'm done with deceiving myself or of not taking the closer look at this thing. I really need to crack this open, and regardless of what's there, I want to see the truth. So when we have Judgment, it is this moment of being willing to see what's really there, and all of the desires for anything other than what's actually there, they've kind of like fallen away at this point, or they're beginning to anyway. So having this energy is about really like seeing something for what it is, and then it's like, now I know what I'm working with, I can understand it, but there may be something that's difficult about actually doing this because sometimes we don't really want the truth. But if you're at the point where you're like, I want to see what this is more than I want anything else, that is really the key that unlocks you being able to actually see things as they are. Judgment is connected with Pluto. Pluto is connected with things like investigating and forensics. And so this will be something that you're looking at where you really are trying to crack the case and get to the truth here. We have Page of Cups next to it. This can be about what it is that you're really feeling here. It can be about what it is that your intuition is really telling you. I get kind of these moments that have been playing out, and you being in this time right now where you're taking a step back and you're kind of like reviewing it's like you're in the present moment, you're moving around and you're doing things, may not be analyzing things on the spot, and then you're kind of taking that step back and reviewing everything that had been happening, all of these key moments, and trying to understand maybe things thematically here. It's like just trying to get high enough up to be able to see things clearly and be able to clearly see what you're doing and what's going on here. Maybe even as it relates to something that you've been trying to make happen and it's just like not working, is the feeling that I'm getting from this. Is that really possible? Having Magician and having Five of Pentacles feels like you trying to create something and it's just like not sticking. And so maybe that's part of the reason why you're taking a look at this, to be like, what's actually going on? It feels like taking a look under the hood. You're going to have to do things in a different way. If you really want to, you have something that you want to manifest within your life. If you want to see that through, you can't keep doing it like this. Something is going to have to change here. And when you take the closer look, you'll know what that is. But there can be reasons why we don't want to take the closer look, because we may know that if you're going to like make something happen that you want to make happen, you may need to make changes that there can be a part of you that like kind of doesn't want to, or you're not totally open to this. Can be like, well, I don't want to sacrifice this for kind of the greater good of what I'm trying to do, but then you're not going to be able to do what you're trying to do here. And so that can actually keep you from manifesting what you're attempting to manifest. There is this really brilliant part of you that's showing up, and that's saying like you got to think outside of the box here. You got to be willing to do things in an unconventional way. I need you to like break yourself out of this because it's not going to work like this, and I'm going to need to pull you over here in order for that to happen. But you can feel really uncomfortable kind of crossing that line here. It's kind of this scenario where you're in a spot where what you're trying to plant in the field, it's not going to take. So you have to kind of shift over to a different field in order to do that. But you can almost want to just like stay where you are, but then it's going to be the same thing over again where it's just like not really taking. And you can almost like think it does for a second and then it dies because it's not fertile ground for you to be able to do this thing that you're trying to do here. And there's nothing wrong with the intention that you have. This is really something that can come to fruition. You can make this materialize, but there's something about where you're trying to plant it that it's not going to work in this scenario. You're going to have to change it up. And I think that it's asking you to do something that you haven't done, to go somewhere you haven't gone before. And even though you already know this, I think getting to that point of like admitting that to yourself and seeing the bigger picture here. It can be something where you're seeing how you're being stubborn. You're like, no, I want it to work this way right here. And I'm seeing this part of you being like, well, you can do that, but you're going to have to go over there in order for this to be something that comes to life. The funny thing is that I almost feel this, like you kind of getting to this place where you're trying to make something work and it's not working in this field that you're trying to make it work in. And then you can be like, there must be something wrong with me and what I'm trying to do here. And maybe that's just not possible for me. And that's literally not the case. You're just doing it in the wrong place, which means that you may be in the wrong situation. You're going to need to bring this into a different situation, and that can be where that happens for you, but it's not going to land within this situation. What you want is possible. You have to be honest with yourself about what you want. Because you can be telling yourself, I only want it in this situation. It's not going to happen. And as soon as this is something that you recognize, it's like this barren field that you're trying to like make this thing happen within, and it's not the place to be doing it. You're gonna have to go somewhere where the soil is rich and it is going to be able to support this thing that you want to do. And that's really where this is gonna be possible for you. But one, you have to be totally clear on your intention that this is really something that you want to do. And then you need to look at the ingredients that you're using and recognize something about the ingredients that you're using. It's not going to allow you to do this. And so you're going to have to make a shift here. But there can be this part of you. There's one part of you that I'm seeing be open to this, and then there's another part of you that I feel like is very stubborn here about this, where you can just be trying to make it work again and again and again, and it's just like not taking again and again and again. And I think when you get to the point where you're like, fine, I think that's when you're gonna like make the transition over, and then you're gonna see that something works and you'll be like, it hasn't been me, there's nothing wrong with my intention, it was just like the wrong place that I was trying to do this, and that's why. And when I say the wrong place, it's not like it's like a bad place where you're trying to make this happen. It just feels like it can't fully support what you're trying to do here. It's not the right situation for you to be able to do this. You can do other things in this situation, but not the thing that you deeply want to experience. And this feels like even something on an emotional level that you want to create within your life. But there's gonna have to be acceptance here. And that can feel difficult to do. It's kind of like you may want something to blossom and it's just past that point now. So you're gonna have to go somewhere else. You can do what you're trying to do, but it's just like with this particular situation, it feels like you're not gonna get more out of it at this point. And there can be a part of you that maybe like doesn't want to like agree with that, can be fighting it a little bit here. I think maybe because you feel really attached to whatever this is. I think in your heart you know this, it can just be difficult to admit to, really. Because this kind of forces you to venture out somewhere unfamiliar. I'm getting big confirmation of this. You can have this new start, it's just gonna have to be in a different place, is what I'm seeing. Meaning in a different scenario, in a different situation. What I'm seeing as far as your moon energy is concerned, so this will be like what is able to sustain you emotionally and within like the core of your spirit here. You can be feeling neglected, you can be feeling like whatever it is that kind of nourishes you on the emotional front, it's kind of vacant within this situation. When it comes to the deeper stuff that you're looking for connection on a soul level. And when you're in touch with this part of yourself that knows what you want, you look at this situation and you're like, yeah, it's not going to take. It's not going to be able to work here. You know this already. I'm seeing you be fully aware of this. I think that the part about you admitting to that, that's actually where the difficulty lies. But what I'm seeing is that there is an Ace of Cups that you have here. You're going to have to make the transition over, and this is something new and different because I'm seeing the Fool be connected to it. So this is an Ace of Cups that you have not experienced before. And so this will just be, yeah, it'll be outside of the common experience that you've had before. It's going to be different for you. And what that means is that you can also feel like there's risk involved because you'd be trying something new. But what other option do you have? You're trying to make something happen. You look at a situation and recognize, because you already know this, it's just about admitting to it. You recognize, I'm not going to be able to do that here in this situation. What other option do you have but to go to the next one? You know what I'm saying? So you look at this and you're like, okay, if I'm really zooming out here, I'm looking at everything, I'm seeing all of the pieces, I recognize there's something here that I want to do. I want to do this very badly. I really want this experience to materialize. I can't do that here. There's a lot of potential for me to do that over here. So why wouldn't you just switch over? Especially because it feels like you already know this intuitively. I think it's just about admitting to it that something has it just feels like you've gotten everything out of something that you could, and that it's the natural next step for you to bump over to the next situation. But I am seeing that you do have something over here and you do see the potential within it. I'm seeing Two of Cups, I'm seeing High Priestess, I'm seeing Ace of Cups. So this can be that running start that you're looking for that's going to be able to grow into this thing that you want to experience. If you struggle with getting in touch with your personal power, I think that this situation is something that can just feel difficult in general to be within, because it seems like if you're gonna switch over to kind of the next situation, you it seems like you have to take this upon yourself. You have to be in touch with your personal power. You have to be radically honest with yourself here. And it seems as well like there's something where you have to be stepped into your power in order to do this. Because I'm seeing the Fool, I'm seeing Nine of Pentacles, which means like you need to be self-reliant in a way that maybe you're not used to, or maybe you haven't been stepped into that so much lately. And you also have to be radically honest with yourself about what you want and about what's true to you, and be willing to march to the beat of your own drum here. And if you're not giving yourself permission to do that, it feels like it's going to keep you in a situation where what it is that you're trying to do, it's not going to come to fruition. It's like what this thing that you're wanting to birth into existence within your life, it is possible for you, but it's like you're trying to plant the seed somewhere that it's not going to take. Like there's one situation that I'm seeing, it's not going to work, but I'm seeing another situation where it looks like it actually can happen, but you're going to have to discern the difference. And maybe even recognize how important this thing is to you, that you really do want this. And so you're willing to go where you need to go in order to make that happen. Because if you're used to like keeping your feelings on the low, Page of Cups, High Priestess here, this can be like I kind of keep my feelings buried, and I'm like scared of making this move, Five of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. And in my heart, I want to do this, but there can be issues with being seen, issues with being vulnerable, exposing the way that you really feel, like making this move that you really want to be making here. And even though I'm seeing you have a perfect opportunity to do this thing that you want to do, I think that there's this feeling of like, maybe this is inadequacy. This can be something about like a lack of self-worth can be involved in this too. It's something that makes situations kind of tricky, and I think that if you were feeling more confident in yourself, this is something that you would go for, but you can feel almost like withered a little bit on the emotional front. It's something where you may not follow your intuition because of this. Like it may keep you shied away from actually feeling your feelings and then doing something about it, like taking action about it. When I see High Priestess and I see Five of Pentacles, I get this thing of like feeling disconnected from your intuition, not following it. And also Five of Pentacles can be when we feel off, like where we don't feel full and like fertile within ourselves, and having that be connected with the moon energy. This can be like feeling like you don't really bring enough to the table, and so it's like, who's gonna love me? Who's gonna want that? Like, what do I really have to offer here? So it can be something that comes back to this place of like feeling like you're incapable in some sort of way, and then you settle for less, and then it just like reinforces this thing of like a lack of abundance within your life, especially on the emotional front. But we go from Five of Pentacles to Nine of Pentacles, where Five of Pentacles is like, I'm useless within this circumstance, to Nine of Pentacles, which is like, nah, I got this. I could totally handle this. But you're gonna have to be in touch with your personal power again to be able to do this, which is just a matter of a shift in your frame of mind. Five of Pentacles, Knight of Cups can be a move really that you want to make, where you want to follow your heart, but you don't allow yourself to do it because you feel doubt within this circumstance, because you don't really trust yourself, you don't really trust your heart, and you don't really trust your guidance. And then it actually reinforces this thing of like keeping you away from what you really want here. And then you can be telling yourself, no, it's fine. I'm fine with this. And the whole time when you really connect with yourself, it's like, no, I want that thing, but holding yourself back from it. And I'm seeing two Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Four of Cups is like you're not really feeling too thrilled with things nowadays. Like there can be a situation that you feel kind of bummed out to be within, or it can be something where it's like you feel kind of numb, you feel kind of apathetic, you feel kind of emotionally stagnant within it. And this is saying it's like you have every opportunity to step out of that. Like I'm actually seeing an opportunity that you can step right into. But there is this thing about not exposing yourself on the emotional front that keeps you from that. And you may kind of have to be a little bit brave here. I just think that this is reflective of like how you feel towards yourself, and if you were to show up feeling like you're gonna get rejected or like it's not gonna be good enough, there's something like that. Or you just feel like not capable of handling this when it doesn't really seem like that's the case here. Something else that I'm seeing connected with this Five of Pentacles is that this feels like if you're gonna transition from one place to another, you actually have to make a transition, which means that this place that you've been trying to make something manifest where it's like not working repeatedly, you are going to have to leave this behind and transition to the next thing, which means that there may be an ending that's going to be connected with this. I'm seeing an Eight of Cups, but it's like it's a situation where you can't make something happen that you want to make happen anyway, so why keep that around? It's like you know that you're going to have to transition out, but there can be this part of you that like doesn't really want to. If you doubt yourself and you have some issue emotionally here with yourself and like being loved and being accepted and like being supported and being in like a mutual situation here where it has like the depth that you're looking for, if you're feeling like you're not deserving of that, it feels like that may actually be the thing that keeps you from going where you want to be going here, because in having something that you don't feel a sense of like wholeness and completion and like a complete sense of connection within and remaining in that situation, it feels like it allows this belief that you have of like this being all you deserve to be supported. So you're like proving yourself right here with this belief where you just get some insufficiency. And if you were to take the closer look and inspect that, it feels like it can help you make the necessary change that would allow you to step into your energy here in a way that actually gives you the fuel that you'd need to create this thing that is available to you to create. There's something within you that feels like you deserve not to feel happy, not to feel fulfilled, to just like accept things that I think don't like nourish you on the level that you want to be nourished. This can be too like I'm used to scarcity as well. And so this situation that you've been in, it reinforces that for you too. I think until you get to the point where you're like, no, I want more, and I actually like that's available to me. And it's literally all a mindset here. It doesn't have to actually do with your situation. Your situation is just a reflection of where you are with yourself. So you believe that you don't need to be nourished emotionally, and that it's fine, you don't like really need to be too happy with things, or that you kind of deserve a sense of disconnection. You're like basing things off of like guilt and shame and these types of things. it feels like you remain in a situation that's just going to reinforce that for you. Once you get to a place where you're like seeing through that and you're like, I am in touch with my personal power and I can do this and I can do better for myself. I want more compatibility and I want to feel like really abundant emotionally and like overflowing and like really nourish my moon energy, which means like your moon energy is about your core needs and you actually finding ways to meet those core needs. You're in a situation where your needs have not been being met, but these are needs that you have to really be communicating with yourself and in touch with yourself to recognize what situations are not sufficient enough for you. And I think if you're used to kind of like neglecting yourself here in subtle ways, it feels like you found yourself in a situation that does reinforce this neglect. But I'm seeing a situation that you have that you can be moving through that's going to feel fulfilling, but you're going to have to take it upon yourself to put yourself out there and move in that direction. But things can actually be awesome for you. I see a situation that there's a disconnect there. You can feel like you're being neglected emotionally and with like the intimacy and with your core needs that you have and like what you want, the needs that you want met. There's an opportunity that you can shift to where you'll be able to experience what you want, but you are going to have to take a chance and leave this situation behind in order to transition to the place where what you want to experience is actually possible. Because there really is something that's just not cutting it for you. But you're going to have to see the power within your feelings, and you're going to have to empower yourself enough to actually listen to them and follow through. And I get some like very new experience on the emotional front that is available for you to have, but you're going to have to kind of like change your mind here in order for that to work. You're going to have to expand and open your mind, because you can be telling yourself stories that keep you in this situation that again reinforce this sense of neglect and this feeling like that's just what you get. So that it feels like that's actually what it comes down to, like this self-belief of this. I guess something too for some of you, you can feel like time's kind of run out and maybe you've like given up a little bit. I'm getting that a little bit here. Like I'm getting something where it's like clock is ticking, but maybe you just feel like you have to kind of like go down with the ship of whatever this is. I'm getting that a little bit here. But then it's one of those things where if you were to bump into the next situation, you wouldn't be feeling like this anymore. It's just you have to bump into the next situation in order for this to become a reality for you. Because where you are, it's just like a strange position for you to keep yourself in. And I think once you realize what you're reinforcing, you would be like, why am I doing that to myself? But I think in certain ways, like you've kind of grown accustomed to this. And so breaking out of this, it means that these like narratives that you've been feeding yourself or that have even been fed to you from a young age, this is something that you have to break yourself out of. That keeps your mind small and keeps you in these tight little situations that I think you're ready to outgrow at this point. Because I really do see stuff available to you. I just think that there's a part of you that maybe thinks like you're not good enough for it. That can be part of it. Like you're not worthy, it kind of feels. Or that you don't deserve to feel fulfilled. That can be something as well. That it's like a luxury or something like that, when it's like that's just your basic needs being met. But maybe there's a part of you that's like used to, again, like some sort of scarcity, and it's like you can survive within that. Sure, are you happy to do that? Because there's a big difference between can you survive or not. Where can't you survive? You can survive in any situation. Is that the way that you want to be living your life? Is that the like quality of life that you want? It's not your only option. You have other options. But you're going to have to take a look at what the universe is really presenting to you, I think, in order to really see it clearly and see that what you want to experience, like what you want to create, it really is possible for you to do that. And I'm seeing something that's like a little, it's like your guides handed you this little seed that you can plant, and that if you plant it in the right spot, you're really going to be able to like have this thing grow that you want to grow within your life, but you have to plant it in the right spot. And I'm seeing you have a spot and your guides are like, over there, that's where you want to put it. And I just see this like, it's like feels like a waiting that's been happening, even though you can do it right now. But it feels like you're gonna have to, that land that you're gonna have to venture to, it's a place that you have not set foot yet. It can feel foreign to you. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. This is going to make life more colorful for you in a way where it feels like the color has slowly sort of like drained out a bit for the most part, like more regularly. This is something where the color, this is going to help the color seep back in, and every day is going to feel you're gonna feel fully involved, and like it's just effortless to feel connected and to feel involved and to feel safe and to feel secure and to feel like things come back to life again. And like parts of you that have kind of like faded out, they come back online again. Thank you everybody for connecting and tuning in. Hopefully I will catch you guys next time.